Sign up today for a 7-day free trial at alerts.chartguys.com. Hey everyone, checking in on the cryptocurrency space. We're going to look at Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, BCHSV, and BNB. So first things first, let's catch up a little bit. We do have a bull move in progress right now. There's a 5-minute serious surge in volume and price action. We'll check in on that as we get towards the end of the video to see if that holds up. But as of right now, really significant follow through. And today's the kind of day when that happens in the middle of the day, there's opportunity in the stock market as a little bit of a laggard with the blockchain names like Riot, MARA, GLXY on the Canadian exchange. So nice to see multiple chances to have opportunity for these bull moves. But what happened yesterday is we had an article come out that essentially, on Bloomberg, I think it was, that essentially said, you know, we've done a lot of research and there's a whole bunch of bots trading in this space. When in reality, any market that you have in this day and age is going to have bots trading it. They're in the stock market, they're in commodities, they're everywhere. And so it's almost a moot point to say there's bots in this cryptocurrency space. We know that they're running wild, and when there is a lack of liquidity, they stand out the most. And again, that bot radar that we have on the alert system certainly tells us that they are playing around often. So we had a bearish reaction to that and a dump, and the 4-hour time frame we bounced, rejected from the 4-hour exponential resistance, formed a higher low this morning, and now we're seeing follow through of the 4-hour trend change. So essentially what we're seeing is the bulls doing a great job of playing defense on the daily time frame. So we had our high of the bull move, low of the pullback, and now we're just grinding this 12-period exponential support as the bulls have done a great job of holding on. And now we're in an area with a lack of resistance. If we look on the 4-hour time frame, clearing 51.93, we can see there's a lack of resistance up to the recent high of 54.88. Certainly don't anticipate to head right up to that resistance level, but this is keeping the bulls in control on the daily time frame. At this point, we're going to have to break 49.02 in order to see a bear break with follow through and then look for weekly consolidation. So right now, the weekly consolidation is just a weekly inside bar, and we haven't started pulling back because we haven't lost the daily uptrend. So significant move for the bulls, hourly RSI getting oversold, big volume spike on the hourly. And at this point, we have a 4-hour uptrend to be watching with 50.16 as our last higher low. Anything above that keeps the 4-hour uptrend in control. And again, every day we'll just continue watching the daily exponential support, which is continually ascending and helping the bulls hold strong. ETH, looking at the daily time frame, it's a bit of a different setup. We can see the lower low was much more clear here, and we didn't get that on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin held a higher low and Ethereum dropped to a lower low. So right now Ethereum is a daily inside bar and it's not breaking the 169.76 high. If it were as strong as Bitcoin, it would be breaking that level. We had the similar bounce, rejection from exponential resistance. Our 4-hour higher low is 160.30, and we did get continuation, but we did not break resistance. So just because we were coming from a weaker point when the bounce started to take place, we're not getting as much follow through for the bulls. So again, playing some defense. The weekly time frame or the daily time frame with the lower high and lower low is a little bit more convincing consolidation on the weekly chart. So the weekly chart, we're looking for a higher low to form. And right now, this would be a weekly bull flag if that were it as far as consolidation goes. But it is the kind of scenario where a bear break on Ethereum is going to be ignored here if that bear break does not show up on Bitcoin. So of course, we're keeping Daddy Bitcoin in charge and making sure that any individual name that we're trading, if a significant break happens, we have to ensure that Bitcoin follows along with that break. Otherwise, we have to be skeptical of that break. So daily inside bar with ETH, we'll see if that closes that way. But we have a 4-hour uptrend to be watching here as well, 160.30. Litecoin, a similar scenario, although it held pretty much a double bottom. We did end up breaking support by 38 cents. And again, lack of follow through, but it's a daily inside bar here as well. And we're not getting as much bullish follow through. There's the bounce. Our higher low is 77.18. And we ended up not getting back to the recent high of 84.73. And I have played one trade since we made a video last, the live stream over the weekend. I did play the LTC 15-minute oversold. There was a 5 and 15-minute oversold bounce that I played on LTC. And let's see, it wasn't this most recent one. It was, trying to think how long ago that was. I believe it was down here. Scaled in missed the sell back up in the 84s as I was not next to my computer, set a stop loss at break even, and stopped out. That's a scenario for this trade to go back on where we had the 5-minute and 15-minute RSI oversold, which has been a good entry signal over the last week and a half, 2 weeks. So entered, would have scaled out into profit, was not at my computer to take that profit, was doing other things. Maybe I was live streaming stocks. I forget what I was doing, but it's the kind of scenario where I missed out on profit because I was unable to be at the computer. And it's just a reminder to myself, I'm not going to make as much money as I made in 2017. Number one, it's clearly not the same market, but even if it was, if I am not at my computer 10 hours a day, I cannot expect to make as much money 3 hours a day at the computer as I would if it were 10 hours a day, because I would have scaled out into this strength and I would have locked in profit as opposed to setting a stop at break even and exiting at break even because I was not there in that little opportunity to capture that profit. So just something to be aware of. There is a direct correlation as a trader in the amount of time that you can be in front of the computer with the reward and profit that you will likely see. So 4-hour time frame, we have our higher low set on Litecoin at 77.18, 84.73 is our resistance, and anticipating likely to see a daily inside bar form on Litecoin here. BCHSV, this drama is disgusting as far as the cryptocurrency space goes. It is such a turnoff, but there's going to be an oversold bounce opportunity. So we have to wait until the dust settles. We have to wait until we see who else is going to delist BCHSV. We've got Binance delisting them. We've got Kraken saying they might. They're in limbo a bit. And as long as they're trading on a major exchange like Bitfinex or wherever else they're at, there is going to be a bounce. So just be aware of that. When there's the most blood in the streets and the most weakness, that's when we see some solid bounces. And we've seen it with BCH in the past, whether it's the regular old BCH ABC or BCHSV. Either way, it's something to watch. I'm certainly not looking, and I wouldn't suggest any entry anytime soon, but it is worth watching, perhaps when we get an eventual hourly trend change, to bottom fish whatever that low is and look for the potential of an oversold bounce, because once bottom is hit, we will probably see a very easy 20% move. It's just trying to determine where that bottom is that's going to be the tricky part. So bears in complete control. We're probably going to hit all-time lows. Maybe not all-time lows, but we're going to break 57.38. We already did. So we're looking down at 37.35 as the only support. That's a long ways away. So potentially a play off of that support. But again, just be very patient. This is the kind of trade that you want to stalk and watch. And again, if the trade goes on without you, no big deal. You don't lose anything. But if you can put yourself into a situation that's very low risk and you see a setup that you like that's potentially showing the shift in tide, it's worth, if you're an experienced trader, it's worth trying to keep an eye on. Binance, multiple daily inside bars, sideways tightening range. So we have the inside bar from yesterday, 1866 to 1978. If we don't break it today, tomorrow we'll look for a break of these inside bars. And you could call this a cup and handle pattern on the 4-hour time frame, where we have the $20 resistance. It's not a good looking cup, but we pulled back, unable to break resistance by 10 cents. And this is your handle of healthy consolidation. And if the bulls can get their momentum going here and get up over 1950, or actually make that 1965, and then we could look at a bull break of 1990 and $20 for daily continuation. Very impressive recovery for Binance, and now just sideways trading. It looks like just biding their time before making an attempt at that resistance to try and look for continuation. So that's where we stand in the space overall. Nice short-term bullish action. We'll see how long the Bitcoin bulls can keep this up. When we top out, we're just going to look for an hourly higher low to form. The 4-hour uptrend is the most important for me at this point. And we'll see if we can keep a 4-hour uptrend over the next couple days, making our way back towards the recent high of 54.88. So congrats to the bulls on this short-term move. Again, keep an eye on those 5 and 15-minute oversold bounces when they line up together. Both 5 and 15-minute RSIs being oversold. Recent history has proved to be good entry opportunities, and we'll see if that keeps up being the case. Thanks again. Hope you have a good middle of your Tuesday, and we'll check back in the near-term future. Do good things. See you soon. So taking a break from story time today, and these are my babies growing some tomatoes and cucumbers getting ready to go in the ground. And I don't have a greenhouse, so I take them out every day for a walk, leave them outside, and bring them back in at night so they can stay warm, because these cucurbits, as far as the cucumbers go, and the nightshade tomatoes, they want it
70 to 90 degrees all the time, so they wouldn't do too well outside. Growing more than I need and culling out the weaker ones, keeping the stronger ones. Probably got 5 different varieties of tomatoes. Green zebra, some Brandywine variety. You can tell the difference. These are your standard tomatoes. And then these leaves that are more rounded are the Brandywine variety. Different kinds of cucumbers, some for pickling and some for salads. They're going to go crazy. I'm going to trellis those up the side of my house. Currently in transition while I'm looking for a mini farm and going to move back into a spot that I was a couple months ago. So the other day I was sleeping over my girlfriend's house and I woke up at 6 as I heard the rain start pouring down, and I remembered I left these guys outside because it was going to be mild that night, and I had to run home before the sun came up, bring them back inside so they wouldn't get damaged. But it's good to expose them. The one disadvantage to a greenhouse is unless you roll up the sides, there is a lack of wind and a lack of elements, and that strengthens the stems. If you have wind that's knocking them back and forth, that builds their stems up, and if they're not exposed to that, it leaves them a bit weak. So it's been pretty windy today, so that'll strengthen them up real nice. And all the ones that I don't use, I'm probably going to do the tomatoes in some big pots, and I'll do the cucumbers in pots on my deck, which gets the best sun to climb up the side of the house. But the ones that I don't use, I'm just going to stick into the ground and see if they can tough it out on their own. So those are my starts. Gonna do a whole bunch. Planted potatoes in some pots, which I've never done potatoes in pots. Did that a couple days ago. And gonna get some summer squash and winter squash going. I love dill. I want dill and cilantro. So I'll keep you all posted. We actually have some aphids going crazy on some of our peas. So I ordered a whole bunch of ladybugs and praying mantises. Gonna get the insect predator game going. So I'll introduce you to my baby ladybug and praying mantises once I get those. But you should all plant some stuff. It's not really that hard, and it's a fun experiment, and you can learn from it. And then you can eat stuff that you grow. And the connection that you get from eating something that you grow from seed is unlike anything that I've ever experienced, and it completely changed what eating food is for me.